Sure.
maybe a good place to start is how you discovered the Food Institute, what your relationship is with the Food Institute, and then for folks who are not familiar, maybe just a little bit about the mission and vision for the Food
Sure.
Institute.
So as you mentioned, Food Institute is a 90-plus-year-old organization. So it started in 1928. So if you kind of
Nice.
think that's right about when the Great Depression happened, right?
Mhm.
And so the founder at the time built a publication to help inform folks in the food industry about market trends, about market pricing, and developed a very reputable weekly news publication that he would mail out to his
Mhm.
constituents. And that mission really hasn't changed in the 90 plus history. And so how I got involved is during my private equity days. So I focused on lower middle market acquisitions of food and beverage companies in the US. I would always be on the hunt for quality information, unbiased information, and Food Institute was one of the few places that I would go where I could rely upon that information that they provided, whether it's
Mhm.
news, insights, reports. And having been a subscriber for a number of years, 2 years before I came on board, I approached the management of the Food Institute and told them about a number of ideas that I think would help the company. So this wasn't really, me wanting to acquire it at the time. It was just presenting ideas. And what normally happens is the case is when an external party has some advice for management, it normally gets chucked away to the side, which is what
Yeah.
happened. And funny story, I finally found out who the owners were. So one was a high net worth individual working in private equity, and the other owner was a food service one, managing one of the leading food service distribution companies in the US.
Mm.
So I actually reached out to them on LinkedIn. I pestered them probably for about 3 months until they answered, replied to my message. And once I got a hold of the majority owner, I told them what I wanted to do with the company. And so, fast forward
Mm.
3 months, we worked out a deal, and the rest is history. So I took over at the beginning of 2020.
Mm.
So it's been a phenomenal ride.
I think it's very cool though that it wasn't, oh, here's a cool financial play. It's like, no, I'm actually a consumer of the
Right.
content that these folks put out. And in fact, I'm such a fan of it. Maybe this is actually what I want to do. So I
Right.
can't think of a better endorsement. Uh, yeah, that's the ultimate subscriber. You bought the company.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of realized through my different roles in finance how important information is, right? So
Mm.
a lot of the content that we get, whether it's on, the CNNs and the Fox News, it's very politicized. There seems to be an agenda in many cases, and so to be able to work at a company where I believe that the value of content should be unbiased, well balanced, right?
Yeah.
And informative, like you would think that this should be a no-brainer for any media company, but we're I realize that there is a lack of that type of content, and that's really what I wanted Food Institute to become. And the phrase the Bloomberg of the food industry
Yeah.
is kind of the phrase that I would use, because relative to other media organizations, I felt that Bloomberg really focused on the facts, on the
Mm.
data, and they really didn't go into like the political side, or the agenda side of that many other media organizations focus on. So yeah, so that's really the vision, and it's been 3 years. I love it. This is the best job that I've ever had, in my 20 plus year, career history. And,
Mm.
every day brings something new and innovative. So, yeah.
Now that's awesome. And then maybe just again, very quickly, and I'm not trying to make this an infomercial. We're gonna talk issues and content stuff in just a second. But how do people access the content, and is that changing over time in how the content's delivered to folks?
Yeah. So 3 years ago, we switched strategies. So instead of being focused as a print publication, we completely digitized the business. So now we have newsletters, we have podcasts, we have digital video, we have webinars, we have a free newsletter which you can sign up if you go on the homepage of foodinstitute.com. And there are also different professional memberships available as well. And so as members or even as sponsors, they are able to help shape the content, but not in a way that is, either misleading or trying to push an agenda. They believe in the content of Food Institute, and so it's for them to be able to reach our audience, which is primarily focused on food and beverage companies, lower to upper middle market, and
Yeah.
many of whom are founder, operators, C-suite level executives.